Usually when we talk about a physical library, there's this expectation of a very specific, um, almost comforting process, right? You walk through the doors, you use the catalog, you get that little string of numbers, and then you physically walk the aisles until you find the exact book you're looking for.
Right, yeah. It takes some effort, but you get to browse the shelves along the way.
Exactly. You might even stumble on something entirely unexpected. It's a whole thing.
It is a journey of discovery. You are doing the hunting, and the catalog's only job is just to point you in the general direction. The agency is entirely yours.
But then, you step into the world of search engines as of July 3, 2026, and suddenly the librarian isn't giving you a map to the books anymore.
No, absolutely not.
Instead, you walk in, ask a complicated question, and the librarian just hands you a single, perfectly typed paragraph containing the exact answer you wanted. Which, is incredibly convenient, right?
Right, on the surface, it's amazing.
Until you realize that to give you that one paragraph, the librarian is actively choosing to completely ignore 99% of the books in the building.
And if you happen to be the author of one of those ignored books, well, it is the absolute definition of an existential crisis. The entire distribution model for your work has just evaporated overnight.
It really has. And that is exactly where we find ourselves on this deep dive. So welcome in, everyone. Whether you're prepping for a digital marketing meeting, trying to figure out why your company's website traffic is fluctuating wildly, or you're just insanely curious about the future of the internet, you are in the right place.
You really are. It is such a massive shift.
Our mission today, well, I should say our mission on this deep dive is to unpack the SEO Daily Technology Report. And we are explicitly anchoring everything we talk about to the exact date of this source material, which is July 3, 2026.
Which is just a fascinating snapshot in time, honestly. We are looking at a landscape that is fundamentally fracturing and rebuilding itself all at once.
So let's get into the mechanics of this fracture. We're transitioning from a world where we typed keywords into a little box to get a list of 10 blue links to a world where AI engines give us direct conversational answers.
Yeah, the rules of how your content gets seen have just been completely rewritten.
Totally. And there's a lot of heavy technical jargon in this report from July 3, 2026. But don't worry, we're going to decode all of it into clear, actionable insights for you without making it overwhelming.
Exactly. And to understand what these new AI search engines actually want, it really helps to first look at what traditional search engines are actively punishing in this July 2026 landscape.
Good point. The report kicks off with the official confirmation of Google's June 2026 spam update. Now, this started rolling out around mid-June, but it was just officially confirmed in late June. And reading through this, it is a bloodbath for a very specific type of website.
Oh, absolutely brutal.
It's targeting low-quality AI-generated spam, thin affiliate content, and something called scaled parasitic SEO.
Yeah, that last one, scaled parasitic SEO, is particularly malicious.
How so? What does that actually look like?
So imagine a highly respected, authoritative university website, right? Suddenly, a third party pays the university to host a hidden subdirectory on their site. And that directory does nothing but pump out thousands of reviews for offshore crypto casinos.
Oh, wow. So they're just piggybacking off the university.
Exactly. The third party is acting as a literal parasite. They're feeding off the university's trust factor to rank their own spam in search results. And Google is just aggressively crushing that tactic right now.
What I found incredibly stressful about this part of the report is how the update actually rolled out. The data shows this initial unconfirmed volatility period, rankings were just violently swinging up and down, and Google wasn't saying a word about it publicly.
Radio silence.
Yeah. It's like a boss giving the entire office the silent treatment for a week before finally announcing who was getting fired.
That is a painfully accurate analogy. And the psychological toll on site owners is just immense. You check your analytics on a Tuesday, your traffic is down 40%, and you have absolutely no idea if it's a temporary glitch, a core algorithm update, or a manual penalty against your business.
It's terrifying. SEO professionals are basically monitoring search engine result page movements daily just to guess what's happening in the dark.
Yeah.
But, this chaos is forcing a major industry pivot.
A massive one.
The report notes that AEO, or Answer Engine Optimization, has officially gone mainstream here in 2026. But I have to push back on this a little bit. Is AEO just a trendy rebrand of traditional SEO? Are we just putting a new sticker on the same old keyword tactics to sell consulting hours? Or is the actual DNA of how we write really changing?
Oh, the underlying DNA of content creation is fundamentally different now. It's not just a rebrand. And the distinction really comes down to the mechanism driving these AI engines, which is called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Okay, let's unpack ARG. What is that actually doing behind the scenes?
Think about the early language models from just a few years ago. They were basically just reciting things they memorized during their massive training phase. They couldn't look up new information.
Right, if you asked them about a news event from yesterday, they just hallucinated or gave you an apology.
Exactly. But with ARG, the model doesn't just guess from memory. It actively goes out to the web, retrieves real-time documents, reads them, and then generates an answer based strictly on what it just read, providing a citation link right back to the source.
So the AI is acting like a super speed researcher taking an open book test.
That hits the core of the issue perfectly. Now, put yourself in the shoes of that AI researcher. You have fractions of a second to ingest an article and extract a factual answer.
Oh, yeah.
If the article starts with like a long, meandering 5-paragraph personal story about a childhood vacation before it finally gets to the recipe or the technical definition, what do you think happens?
The AI probably just times out, right? Like
Right.
it's a processing limit and just moves on to the next article that gets to the point faster.
Precisely. Because the processing power required for AI is incredibly expensive. I mean, compute time is money.
Right.
The AI engine does not care about your beautifully crafted prose or your keyword density if it cannot extract the answer efficiently. So the structure of your writing must change. You have to prioritize direct answers right at the very top of the page. You need clear, concise definitions.
So traditional SEO might get you found by the retrieval system, but AEO is what ensures the AI actually uses your information in its final answer.
Exactly. That's the aha moment.
That makes a lot of sense when you frame it around the cost of computing power. And the report highlights that Perplexity is currently acting as the fastest testbed for this.
Yeah, they really are leading the charge on testing.
Because Perplexity shows its citations in line and its retrieval is near real-time, practitioners in July 2026 are using it as a literal feedback loop. They tweak the structure of an article, ask Perplexity the question, and just see if they get cited.
Yeah, if the structure works there, then they roll it out for ChatGPT and Gemini. It's rapid prototyping for content structure. Wow.
But, organizing the text on the page for a human reader is really only half the battle here. You also have to change how the back-end infrastructure of your website communicates with these AI crawlers.
Okay, so if the AI is timing out on long paragraphs, how do we actually signal to the bot where the direct answer is without making them read the whole site? Is it just about formatting the text?
Well, no, it requires a very proactive back-end approach. For decades, we've relied on a simple text file called robots.txt to manage web crawlers.
Right, right. Let me test an analogy on you here. If the old robots.txt file was basically a bouncer standing outside a nightclub holding a clipboard, just saying broadly who is allowed in and who gets blocked.
Yes, I like where this is going.
Is this new llms.txt file standard mentioned in the report more like the VIP host, the person who grabs the AI by the hand, bypasses the crowded dance floor, and walks it directly to the absolute best tables in the club?
The mechanics back up that analogy perfectly. A robots.txt file is purely defensive. It tells a crawler, hey, don't index my admin login page.
But an llms.txt file is offensive. It is explicitly designed to guide large language models. It basically tells the AI bot, do not waste your expensive compute power scanning my contact page or my thin category pages. Here is a highly curated, easily digestible list of my most authoritative cornerstone content.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, read this specific list of URLs to understand my brand.
So you are curating the narrative you want the AI to have about your business. That is fascinating. The report refers to this entire concept as generative engine optimization, or GEO.
Yeah, GEO is the new frontier.
It notes that as of July 3, 2026, we're seeing about 5 to 15% adoption of llms.txt among major websites. But GEO isn't just about that one file, is it? The report also details this massive resurgence in structured data and schema markup, specifically JSON-LD and FAQ schemas.
And this is a really fascinating reversal of expectations, honestly. A few years ago, a very vocal subset of the SEO community argued that as AI got smarter, we just wouldn't need schema markup anymore.
I remember that phase. The whole, just write good content and the machine will figure it out crowd. It sounded so liberating for content creators, Just write naturally.
Yeah, it was a nice thought. But the reality on July 3, 2026 is the exact opposite. Human language is full of ambiguity, and ambiguity is chaos for an AI trying to provide a definitive answer in real time.
Right.
Schema markup, like JSON LD, is essentially an invisible layer of code that tags your content with absolute certainty. It removes all the guesswork. It explicitly tells the machine, hey, the word apple here refers to a fruit with a calorie count of 95, not the trillion-dollar technology company.
And that explains the return of the FAQ schema. Because I recall when people declared FAQ schemas dead because Google stopped showing them in standard search results. But why are they suddenly a cornerstone of AEO?
Think about an AI assistant's primary function. It answers questions. So if you format your content using FAQ schema, you are literally handing the AI a perfectly formatted question and answer pair on a silver platter.
Which dramatically reduces their computational load.
Exactly. If your competitor hands the AI-structured FAQ data and your site only offers a big, beautiful wall of clever prose, well, the machine is going to cite your competitor every single time.
Wow. And this ties directly into what the report calls entity SEO. It's no longer about writing an article stuffed with the phrase, best running shoes. It's about structuring content around well-defined entities, like specific people, places, organizations, and mapping their relationships.
Right, because Google's knowledge graph integrates directly with AI overviews. So entities with strong schema markup are the ones getting preferentially surfaced.
You're defining the entity of a specific shoe model, its manufacturer, the materials used, and linking it mathematically to the broader entity of marathon running. It's an interconnected web of data, not just a string of keywords. Okay, so we know we need to structure our content for the machines to save them processing power. But how do we know if they're actually listening? Like, if you are managing a company blog right now, how do you prove your strategy is working? This brings us to a metric mentioned in the July 2026 report that is, frankly, terrifying.
Ah, yes, the visibility gap.
Yes, the visibility gap. This is the metric causing panic in marketing departments across the board, isn't it?
Oh, panic is the right word.
The report shows that a brand can rank #1 on traditional Google search, getting that top blue link, but be completely absent from AI search results on ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude. Being #1 on Google, but invisible to ChatGPT, I mean, that's like being the most famous person on MySpace in 2010 while everyone else has already moved on to Instagram.
That is a great way to put it. Your audience has migrated, and you are basically king of an empty castle.
Yeah. It reveals a fundamental disconnect between traditional retrieval algorithms and generative AI citations. And I guess it explains the explosion of AI visibility tracking tools into a core KPI category.
Definitely. You have to track this now.
The report lists tools like Trackings.ai, AthenaHQ, Rankscale.ai, and SE Ranking's new AI Overview Tracker. Even Ubersuggest has added AI prompt tracking. They're measuring your brand's share of voice and sentiment specifically within AI responses.
Right, and Semrush is predicting that AI search visitors could actually surpass traditional search visitors for digital marketing topics by early 2028. So if you are tracking your AI visibility on July 3, 2026, you are just flying totally blind.
The visibility gap isn't just a formatting issue, though, is it? There's a deeper layer at play here, which is the trust factor. AI engines are incredibly sensitive to being embarrassed by bad data.
They absolutely are. Trust is everything to them.
Which brings us to a tool in the report called EEATClean, EEATClean. It's rising as a top 10 tool for something called freshness audits and content pruning. Let me bounce this off you real quick. Is EEATClean basically acting like a smoke detector for expired facts?
That is the perfect way to describe it. A smoke detector for facts. And to understand why that is critical, you have to look at how AI engines handle trust. Google has always valued EEAT, right? Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Right.
But AI engines operationalize that trust very differently.
I actually want to push back on this a little bit. Traditional SEO has always taught us that old, mature pages have the most authority. If I go into my company's blog and just mass delete my articles from 2021, aren't I going to tank my domain's traditional Google traffic? Like, why would I prune content?
Well, that is exactly the tension every site owner is facing right now. But let's look at it from the AI's perspective. The biggest vulnerability for an AI company is hallucinations. You know, when the AI confidently states something completely wrong.
Yeah, we've all seen those viral screenshots.
Yeah, exactly. And a major cause of those hallucinations is the AI retrieving outdated information from a supposedly authoritative website.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Let's say you have an article from 2021 that states interest rates are at record lows. That AI reads that, generates a terrible financial answer for a user, and then the user flags the answer as incorrect or harmful. The AI's feedback loop traces that error right back to the source data, which is your website.
So the AI realizes, wait, I got burned because I trusted this domain.
Bingo. And your domain's credibility score within that specific AI ecosystem plummets. The AI will simply stop retrieving your pages. That is exactly why EEATClean is surging in popularity. It scans your massive site architecture, finds the expired facts, the outdated statistics, the no longer valid advice, and flags it.
And then you have a choice. You can either painstakingly update the facts or just prune the page entirely.
Right.
Man, pruning is such a hard pill to swallow. You spent hours, maybe days, writing that 2021 article, and the idea of just deleting it feels inherently wrong to a creator.
It hurts. Definitely.
But in this July 2026 landscape, the paradox of the modern web is that less content, as long as it's highly accurate and rigorously maintained, yields far more visibility than a massive unkempt library of outdated information.
It is quality control at an industrial scale.
Which transitions us perfectly into how teams are actually executing this quality control. The report outlines the tool stack of 2026. And with the stakes this high, the software industry has completely splintered into two distinct philosophies for creating content. We're seeing massive AI scale going head-to-head against deep human artisans.
The philosophical divide in the market right now is stark, and it's heavily reflected in how these tools are built and priced.
Let's break down the major players. On the side of massive scale and data, Semrush AI Copilot is the dominant all-in-one center at about $120 a month. It's using generative AI to automatically interpret performance data and suggest strategies.
Right. It serves as the central command center for agencies. It completely removes the manual burden of staring at spreadsheets trying to find a trend. The AI Copilot interprets the data and tells you exactly what the anomalies mean.
Super efficient.
Hmm.
Then you have Ahrefs at $99 a month, which the report calls the gold standard for raw data depth. Their index updates every 15 to 30 minutes. But they aren't using AI to write content. They're using AI to find toxic backlink anomalies.
Right.
Why is that raw data so crucial right now?
Well, it ties directly back to that June 2026 Google spam update we discussed at the top of the show. If your site is the victim of a negative SEO attack, or if you accidentally engaged with a scaled parasitic SEO network, you need unpolished raw data to identify the manipulative link schemes before Google's algorithm penalizes you.
Oh, so Ahrefs provides the defensive shield.
Exactly.
But when it comes to actually generating the content, that's where the divide really widens. Enter Surfer SEO. They are the leader in NLP-powered scale. NLP meaning natural language processing. How does a tool like Surfer actually use NLP to grade a piece of writing?
So NLP algorithms don't just read words, they mathematically map the semantic distance between concepts.
Okay.
If you are writing an authoritative article about coffee, the NLP expects to see related terms like roast, brew, extraction, and acidity in close proximity. Surfer analyzes the top-ranking pages in real time, builds a mathematical model of those expected terms, and gives your draft a proprietary content score to ensure it matches the semantic footprint of what search engines already prefer.
Interesting. So it's highly data-driven, very focused on hitting exact keyword density metrics. The report mentions it has become a quality gate for high-volume content teams. Like, if a freelance writer submits an article and it doesn't hit a Surfer content score of 80 or higher, the agency just doesn't publish it. It's a very mechanistic approach to writing.
It is. It essentially optimizes for the statistical average of what already exists on the web.
But then, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we have Clearscope. The report calls it the premium human-written content optimizer, prized for semantic depth and topical authority, focusing entirely on quality over volume. And the price tag reflects that. It's $170 a month.
Yeah, it's definitely a premium product.
Just look at that pricing.
Yeah.
Clearscope is actively rejecting the AI volume game. In a world completely obsessed with pumping out thousands of AI-generated articles using ChatGPT, has human-written artisan content officially become a luxury good?
Human expertise has absolutely become a premium commodity. And there is a profound irony in how this ecosystem is balancing itself out right now.
Oh, what's the irony?
Consider what the AI answer engines actually need to function. To get cited by Perplexity or Claude, you need deep topical authority, unique insights, and absolute trustworthiness.
Okay, yeah.
Well, AI-generated content, by its very nature, is just a statistical average of the existing web. It struggles to create net new insights or synthesize original thought. So in order to appease the most advanced AI bots in the world, you actually need the high-end, deeply researched, human-guided expertise that tools like Clearscope foster.
Wait, really? So the best way to win the AI citation game is to be aggressively deeply human in your expertise.
Exactly.
Because the machines are desperate for original human thought because they literally can't generate it themselves.
The AI bots are starved for original sources of truth. If a company is just using AI to generate average content at scale, they are competing in a race to the bottom that the June 2026 Google Spam update is actively trying to penalize anyway. The technical SEOs use Ahrefs to keep the site healthy, but the content strategists rely on human expertise to actually win the citations.
That is wild. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Let's bring it all back home. As of July 3, 2026, the internet is undergoing a massive structural rewiring. The days of throwing keywords at a wall and hoping they stick are officially over.
Long gone.
Whether you are a digital marketer trying to protect your brand's market share, a content creator trying to get your work cited, or just a consumer trying to understand how information reaches your screen, the shortcut to navigating this new web is understanding these core pillars.
You definitely need to adapt to answer engine optimization. You must master trust signals, which means embracing freshness audits and pruning your outdated content. And you absolutely must ensure your content is just as machine readable, through llms.txt and strict schema markup as it is human readable.
It is a totally new landscape. But as we wrap up our deep dive into this July 3, 2026 technology report, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over. We've spent this whole time talking about how to format our knowledge for the machines. We are curating llms.txt files, we are tagging our words with JSON LD, and we are structuring our paragraphs to prevent an AI from wasting processing power.
Right.
But if we're restructuring all of our human knowledge into rigid FAQ schemas and strictly ordered bullet points just to appease the limitations of AI bots, are we at risk of losing the art of natural, messy, narrative human storytelling on the web? By trying so hard to be cited by the machine, are we optimizing the humanity right out of the internet?
Wow. It really is the defining tension for the next era of digital content. Just finding that balance between being structured enough to be found and authentic enough to matter once you actually are found.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the July 2026 technology landscape. We went from the dusty card catalogs of the old web to the hyper-curated VIP rooms of AI search. Keep questioning how the information you read gets to you, and we will catch you on the next one.